Okay.
We're going live.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you for telling me that voiceover.
Oh, hang on. We're going live. I don't know why.
It always does that, Michael.
So it always plays through my computer speakers and does not, and like Safari does not go through the connected microphone.
Oh, that's
Funny.
fun.
Yeah.
Annoying.
Right?
All right.
Wait a minute. Which knob is it to adjust the mic volume? Microphone. Oh,
That one.
I don't know your mixer, Jason. So,
I wasn't asking you.
well,
madam.
I think you were.
I think you need to stop being so mean to
Ah.
Wah! Jason, quit stereo torturing us.
Stereo torture. That's a new one. All right.
me. Right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Quit it. Or else if you do it, I will call you out on the show. So.
Well, you just called him out
You
on
just
YouTube.
did call me out on the stream. Oops.
Oh, you're
Go
doing
back
it
and visit her.
again.
I wasn't doing it on purpose that time.
Well, huh.
That
Not
time.
sure about that. That time.
All right. Everybody mute their phones and all the fun stuff that we're
Yeah.
supposed to do.
Nope. Hang on.
Yeah, I have to do that too. Hang on.
I already did
There
mine.
we go.
Turn on Do Not Disturb.
Wasn't sure where that was going to end.
I just used the mute switch.
Yeah, but I always seem to forget to do my watch when I use the mute switch.
Sometimes I think it mutes the watch too.
I don't know. It doesn't seem to.
No, it doesn't. Sometimes it has in the past, but like
That'd be cool if it actually worked like that all the time.
I know that would be awesome.
Or if it was something you could set.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. But this is not an Apple show, people.
Nope.
Right. So we ready to get started?
Yeah, although we're all recording on Apple devices, but, you know.
That's true, and I'm using Apple headphones.
Me too.
I would be with my AirPods, their first
Yeah,
generation. They sound like
Yeah, they're even
not
well,
podcast approved.
Well, Michael and I have our audio cables connected to our headphones and basically using them as normal
Oh.
headphones.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's do this thing.
Yeah, let's do
Yes,
it. Because ship just coming at 6.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we have to be done by then anyway.
Right. I just have to make sure that they don't be like, oh, we don't have this.
Oh yeah. You know how that goes with Instacart?
I know, so I'm going to have to, mute every so often, make sure, check my phone, because they're early today. So, anyways, that's beside the point.
All right, let's get going.
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the iACast. All right, with me today, I have Taylor Arndt
Hello, everyone.
and Jason Earls.
Hello, everyone.
Well, I want to start off today by saying, we've gotten another person to convert over to the Mac. If you notice, Taylor is on her Mac and looks better than she does on her Lenovo. So what? So
Yeah.
talk about the transition and what prompted that and what's going on.
Oh, boy. All right, so this is a long story, so we're going to make it short, at least short enough to where it won't take up this whole episode. Basically, what went on was I had a problem in which I needed both operating systems, meaning Mac and Windows, at the same time. And I didn't want to take both of my computers because, obviously, if you can see my space around me, you see that I have a very small apartment. And if you can't, well, I have a very small apartment. So I don't really have room for 2 computers on the desk, let alone if I go in person somewhere or travel, I don't want to have to take 2 systems. So I had this Mac that I just got back from Apple after a logic board failure. And I decided, well, let's not try to, not use it. Let's try to actually put it to work. So I went ahead and I reformatted the thing and got everything set up. It's a 2017 MacBook Pro, 512 SSD and 16 gigs of RAM. Works pretty well. And to solve the Windows problem, we finally went landed on a VM using VMware Fusion after our little cloud Windows adventure that we had this week. So that is how that all happened.
Yep.
And it's working great.
Yep. So, yeah. And, yeah. And you could definitely tell that there's visually it's displaying, the camera's better. And what's interesting is that's compared to, your Lenovo, it's a better camera. And they always say that Apple computers have terrible cameras. But even that was an upgrade. And that's, to me, kind of funny.
That's hilarious. But my Lenovo, I think, has reached the end of its useful life.
How old was your Lenovo computer?
About 4 years.
Well, I wonder if that was a new machine whenever it came, like whenever you got it, or was it?
Well, I got it from a friend, but it's about 4 years of use total.
Okay. So I would have thought it would have had a little bit better, specs or camera, but.
Yeah, camera. I mean, its specs were great, but camera was pretty awful.
Well, and it's interesting because my Windows gaming computer doesn't even have a webcam, so I think it's like sometimes we're like, well, these things aren't meant to have cameras, so that's not their purpose. So.
Yeah, and my friend that gave it to me, like I said, had no sight, so the camera, they weren't doing a lot of video work and stuff, and neither was I at the time, but now I am.
Yeah, I don't even think my PC has a camera, and I mean, I guess it's from the era. Still like the end of the era where it's not necessarily abnormal for a laptop not to have a camera, since it's from 2013. But I'm sure that your Mac camera would be better than its camera, even if it did have a camera.
Right.
I'm sure.
Even without the helping of the ISP and the M1, since it's an Intel Mac.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so we're just going to go into our topic for today, and I'm sure we're going to have other episodes to talk about this, but there's been some news from Microsoft yet again. We thought Windows 11 was going to be the big news of the year from them, but nope, not at all. They've introduced another Windows product with a number on it, and it's Windows 365. So we have another Windows. So it's interesting because this version of Windows is not a version of Windows. And are you guys excited about this at all? Actually, I'm very curious to know, Jason, what your thoughts are about Windows 365. Is it something that has you excited, or is it just kind of meh?
No, I'm kidding. Actually, no, I
was
not
expecting that.
Oh man, no, I really am excited about the prospect of Windows 365, even if it's not something that I use on a daily basis, because basically what it is it's a virtual server, sort of a virtual computer rather, that you're supposed to be able to connect to with a browser, and when you do that, you'll have access, of course, to the full Windows operating system, so any applications that you have installed, and it's supposed to support instant on, essentially, from what I remember reading. As it stands right now, you can get it configured up to 512. Basically, the storage and RAM of your Mac, Taylor, 512 gigs of storage and 16 gigs of RAM, I think, is the maximum
That's pretty
that you
hilarious.
can get right now. But I really want to see what this is going to mean, because Microsoft has said that you're going to be able to use it on multiple devices. It's just going to take a browser. So in theory, you could use this on your iPad, on your M1 Mac, or on your Chromebook, or whatever other device you have. So it'll be very interesting to see how this works. I really hope that on the Apple side, audio will stream through so that we can install our screen readers and get those up and running and all that stuff. And I also want to see how it works in iOS. So it's interesting.
Yeah, and one thing, I don't know that you know this, but they are also saying it will work if you're using an RDP client, so you don't have to use the browser.
I did not see that. That is interesting.
Mm-hmm. So you could use the Microsoft Remote Desktop client or another desktop client and be able to connect to your desktop, your Windows 365. And what's really exciting about this is, they've already gotten it pretty well for gaming. Where you could do, be on a low latency connection and be able to do gaming. Now, I tried it yesterday on the Mac, and it did not have stellar performance with gaming. I could have made a gaming reference instead. I didn't have Stellaris performance, but,
I'm not sure everybody would have got that.
Well, gamers will, if you're not, an accessible gamer. It's a very popular space strategy game. But, the pun is lost on most people who are not in the gaming world. But it's really neat, being able to play Xbox games in the cloud. But I feel like I tried to play Doom Eternal, which probably is the worst game to try to play with cloud gaming because
Probably,
of how fast you have to be. But I figured that would be the best test to see how well it would work. And I couldn't do a lot of things. But, and also in Safari, I couldn't press the A button on my controller. I had to open Chrome. Like, the game loaded up, but I couldn't play. So that was interesting. And I see why they have it. It still says beta. So I can totally understand.
Course.
But, though what I'm really excited about with this Windows thing is I'm curious how well I think we'll be able to do audio and video editing on, there. But my question is, other than Descript for blind users, and like Adobe Premiere and, Reaper, I would still want to do all that stuff on the Mac just because of iMovie,
by a long shot.
GarageBand,
I would too, especially
Logic.
if I were using Adobe, because I don't know if you saw this, Michael, but I guess Adobe Premiere is now a thing on the M1 Max.
Yes, it is. It is now a thing.
It's supposed to be like 80% faster or whatever. I don't use Premiere, so I don't know what that really means, but yeah. Stuff like that I would definitely want to still do on the Mac.
But the neat thing is and what is it? Actually, I'm kind of curious what's this going to do for Parallels or VMware, where a lot of their business is allowing people to run Windows on Mac. Microsoft's going to make a lot more money because it's going to be like a minimum of $31 a month plus your Office subscription, which you do need, folks. You will need a Microsoft 365 subscription and to pay for this. But I'm curious what this is going to mean for the virtualization market, because now there's almost no need to.
Right. Well, I think it really depends because, with a virtual machine, you pay the price once. Although I guess there's a subscription model.
There is, yeah.
But if you don't do it like that, you own the software, and you have your operating system, you can just use it, and you don't need an Office subscription. You don't need anything other than, maybe your VMware subscription or whatever, if you're subscribed to it. And a Windows
key.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you have your Windows key, you have your operating system loaded on your machine as a virtual machine, and unless you're subscribed to, VMware Fusion, you're done as far as paying out on a monthly basis. So I guess it really depends on how you are looking to approach using Windows on your non-Windows system. Well, I guess you could technically use it on a Windows system too and have access to a secondary device, but a secondary PC. But I guess what I'm saying is it really just depends, I think, on how. I don't think it's going to really affect VMware and other programs like it as much as it could, because I still feel like a market would exist for, people who want to just have it and use it whenever they need and not have to pay for it each month.
Right. And also, Windows 365 is not available for consumers at this point, meaning that you have to be a business, office, or enterprise, or whatever Office user or subscriber. So that's the other thing, too, is I think a lot of the individual consumers will still follow the VMs until Office 365 and Windows 365, are like until they can get those subscriptions and pay for it as a consumer. I don't think.
Well, they are also saying that there is a plan to make a consumer version of this.
There is, but I'm saying at this point in time.
Right. At this point in time, I don't think, and I think that they're going to probably look into doing, the consumer version probably by next year. So, this is still within that transitionary period from Intel to Apple Silicon. So I think that, when the consumer version, I think people would pay $15 a month for Windows.
I think it would really
On a Mac.
depend, if they don't have something like VMware Fusion installed already, or some other service. Yeah, I could totally see it, especially if the performance is comparable to a virtual machine.
It'll be better.
Oh, it'll be better because if you look at my virtual machine specs, I think you can beat that pretty easily.
Well, the other reason is that this will be running in the cloud, and plus, I believe they said that your download speed is like 10 gigabit
Whoa.
in Windows.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
Oh.
they gave a demo on a podcast I was listening to. Like, you could put your Adobe Premiere project into Dropbox or Google Drive, and have it sync over to Windows in seconds. Whereas, if you had to do that on your, from one computer to another, it would be about, slower. So this is an option for businesses, especially, just create a business account or an office account, for that. And, I think it's going to be worth it. And just those speeds alone are incredible. And I'm just excited to see what this is going to allow us to do. And, as a software developer, you could run your Windows workflows on there, and you get, Microsoft is responsible for keeping it secure. So
That's good.
the other thing that's different about this, though, is it's based off of they're not making anything new, guys. Did y'all know that? This
Yeah, I
is
did.
not. This is
Oh, yeah.
not new.
Oh, yeah.
This is based off of the Windows virtual desktop plan that Microsoft already offers with Azure. But that offering is very expensive because you have to pay for the VM and the virtual server, and you have to pay for Windows on the Windows for Desktop service and the user licensing and all that. So that's why this is going to be much cheaper for folks, because you don't have to worry about that.
I want to know what's going to happen, how it's going to respond if you're doing something and you end up having a power loss.
Well, apparently they're saying that there is going to be an offline mode. I don't know how that's going to
How
work.
is that going to work?
I don't know. But there will be an offline mode, and I'm very curious how that's going to work.
Yeah.
Um,
Because especially, with the heat wave and stuff that we've been experiencing, we've been having more power issues in the country, at least here in the States. And, as more and more people use the power grid to cool down their houses and whatnot, we've been seeing more power outages. So it was just something I was thinking of, like, should that happen, your internet's going to go away. So.
well, and they're also saying, remember, keep in mind this Windows 365 is an always on thing. So your desktop is going to be running even if you're not connected. So your task that you start, you can, leave a task going.
Well, yeah, if it's a giant task or whatever, yeah.
I could theoretically log into Minecraft and go AFK on my server and leave that up in the cloud. And, it would just keep running and producing more items and resources because, I'm not paying attention to it, but my character's just sitting there online in the cloud. Hadn't thought of that before. Can you tell? Mm-hmm.
No, I can't
Yeah,
tell.
not at all.
No.
So now that we know why you're officially excited for the for Windows 365.
But no, seriously, I'm very excited just because I can leave. I can put servers up there, or I could do basically the same thing that I do with my Mac Stadium Mac that we're using for this kind of stuff, and run servers on there and just leave resources going, and
Right.
have things work, and it
Or
just
use
works
it as
really
a
well.
workstation as well.
Yeah, either
Right?
way.
I'm excited. Oh, sorry, I don't.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm excited because while I love virtual machines and VMware Fusion, eventually I'm going to want to upgrade this Mac. And VMware Fusion, unfortunately, is not on M1 Macs. While I could use Parallels, Parallels has decided that it's not accessible. So, I'd rather do Windows 365, plus there'll be faster download speeds and all that stuff. That way I can get the best performance out of my Mac. But again, I am curious how this is going to work. I will
Well,
probably use RDP, right? Because I could just use the remote desktop protocol by Microsoft. And then I can theoretically get speech and all that fun stuff. So I'm pretty excited for it. Yes, it can be expensive, but I think for the right people and the right type of jobs, right? I think it could be a very good option, especially if you are doing accessibility testing, for example, or other things related to that where you need both operating systems on a daily basis. I think that this could be a really good option for us.
well, and also Taylor, because using Windows 365, especially in your case, is going to put less stress on your computer's resources than a virtual machine would. So, of course, it's also going to translate into longer battery life because you're not doing as much.
Yes, and that is what I'm really looking forward to because when I go in person, I don't want to have to bring my charger, especially if I'm going to an hour and a half class. I don't want to have to bring my charger. You know, I
Well,
don't
and
want to. What?
the other
Sorry.
thing that's really nice is too, one thing that most people don't keep in mind. This is not taking up your RAM. That's one thing.
Nope.
But the other more important thing is you're not taking up your computer's hard drive space with a VM.
Because let me tell you, my hard drive space, I've got a lot of it. I mean, not like a terabyte, but I've got enough of it. But yeah, and the other thing is, I'm not taking up my crazy, unpredictable bandwidth for tasks that, well, could have been done in a better way. Example, the script rendering. Although it didn't happen on my Mac, but still, the point is that I can have a very fast server in the cloud that I can be able to do my daily work on for Windows, and then have my Mac, and then kind of do what I'm doing here, right, on my Mac, but then having the Windows available for doing Windows things. So I'm
Right.
very excited for it.
Right. And, I kind of was wondering when Microsoft would go this route anyway, because Microsoft is a software company. They're not a hardware company. So, I think that, they're going to make some serious money off this. And they had, they've already showed commercials and different things where they've had organizations that didn't have good internet. There was on the official announcement, they talked about how a Canadian organization was using this with their satellite internet connections to allow for people to connect using very basic computers, and they wouldn't have to have a computer set up custom and shipped in and all these other things, and they could just throw it on any machine and they're good to go. So I think it's very interesting that we're starting to use computers in the cloud, and it's becoming not just this is the thing for enthusiasts and very advanced users, but Microsoft is going to start making this available for everyone soon. And I think that people out there that are not as tech savvy as we are going to find that, hey, I can have a computer away from my computer, or I don't need my own hard drive space. I could get a 64 gig computer and run Windows on the cloud. And I think that's really the direction that people are moving to.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So,
Sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
especially like with this chip shortage. Wow, try that again. Chip shortage. That's the thing too, right? Because the hardware is kind of a pain right now. It's in flux, right? Because of the whole pandemic and everything. So this would, it would be like people can use their existing hardware to get access to what they need to as well, right? Because of the hardware craziness because of the COVID pandemic.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is it'll make sure that people keep their computers up to date and stay secure.
Yeah.
I just
That's a
wonder.
big thing.
I just wonder. Will this affect what industries will this disrupt, or will it change anything?
It'll make IT's job easier. That's for sure. Like at companies.
Right.
Because I'm sure, IT already has a lot to deal with. When I worked at my other university job, do you want to know how many times IT had to deal with failed update computers or computers that got compromised or any of that stuff? A lot.
I'm sure all the time.
All the time. And they could be spending their time doing other things, monitoring and making sure that the infrastructure, all that stuff. But instead, they have to do all these mundane tasks that either important, but if we can put them in the cloud and we can make sure, because Microsoft is professionals. Or, Microsoft, like I said, they are the professionals because obviously they made the software, they can keep it up to date really good. And that security is definitely going to help, especially with, the ransomware and all that stuff that's been going around. That's another reason as well, because they can help keep it more secure and help patch these vulnerabilities before anything bad happens to any businesses.
Right. So Jason, what would be a use case that you would use this for?
I honestly am not sure yet. I mean, Descript maybe, just because Descript, which is kind of a audio editing transcription software package, I guess is a good way to describe it, right?
If you want, Michael, either I or you can describe it.
But
you got it where you can
Yeah.
basically edit a transcript and it will edit the actual audio, which is neat.
Yep.
yeah, but you can't really edit the transcript accessibly on the Mac, so
Nope.
that I would probably use it for if I were to use it for anything. But like I said, I can't really think of a lot of use cases for me specifically at this time.
No, we know the real reason why you would use it.
What, RS Games?
No, all that too, but
I am not using it for
Audacity.
Mariani.
yeah, you could use it to play Mariani. There you go.
No.
Audacity.
I can use Audacity pretty well on the Mac, actually.
Right, but there's been times where it's been broken, right? But if you have that option for you.
Well, and I wonder how bad the latency would be.
I know. Yeah.
Well, exactly.
doing
Like
that.
I wouldn't want to use it for conventional audio editing software because of the latency that
Right.
I suspect that we are going to see. At least with Descript, though, you could edit the transcript and the latency wouldn't really matter as much.
No.
So, yeah, I think it's going to have its uses. What I want to know, though, is I'm really going to be very curious how much the consumer version of this is going to be, worth. And, the neat thing is that anybody who's going to be stuck with Windows 10 that can't upgrade to Windows 11 can get Windows 11 by subscribing to this.
Yep. Like myself. Well, although my Lenovo, again, has pretty much reached the end of its life. But, my Mac can't get Windows 11, that's for sure. So,
Right. And I'm going to be curious, too, what are going to be its limitations? Because I'm sure there's going to be some. But would you, Jason, if you're doing a lot of audio stuff and you're traveling, would you pay the $31? Because that's what we're guessing the low tier would be, is $31. Would you pay that for Windows 10 in the cloud?
No.
Why?
Because I have all the software I already need on my Mac. And I don't think it's financially worth it for me to pay the, $31 as a minimum, right? Plus whatever it would cost me for however much Descript time I would need. That would get really expensive really quickly, and why do that when I have the ability to just do everything on my Mac? But that's just me. Like,
Right.
I am not saying that Windows 365, full disclosure, is a bad service. It's just not something I think it will work for my.
You don't want to pay $31 to use VipMud.
No. Although I think it actually costs about that much if you want to buy it outright. Buy it fully.
What's that?
VIP Mud. I think the licenses are like $32.
I think so, yeah. But just imagine throwing JAWS up there, and you get your license of JAWS on one computer on as many machines as you want.
Exactly.
Sure, Freedom Scientific won't like that.
Or the
well, it's licensed to you.
Yeah,
right.
It would be licensed to you, and also for me, I have the Windows version of the Eloquence and Vocalizer voices, so I could use Windows on multiple machines and only have one license activated on that particular machine on the Windows 365 machine if I were to subscribe to it.
Right, and so that would, is a savings there too. Basically, all you'd need is just a way to get logged into RDP, and you've got your whole machine. And the neat thing is, we haven't really talked about this, all your settings are there.
Yep.
So that makes it nice.
Yeah, it does.
So I think that it's going to, this isn't even out yet, and I think time's going to tell how well it's going to be. I want to see what the capabilities are. And I do kind of wish that you could share, pay a certain amount and share, have multiple users. But I know that they need to make their money somehow, right?
Well, yep. And honestly, it'd be nice to share it, right? But the point is also as well that have somebody, have it user provisioned and user, that way, people are able to, do their own stuff without having other users. I mean, like I said, I see a point both ways, but honestly, it kind of works for the better at this point. It is expensive, but again, depending on what your use case is, it's going to be worth it. And if you're a business owner, like myself, that's a deduction. So, yeah.
Well, the other thing is, too, it's new tech. New tech is always expensive.
It'll probably go down in price eventually.
Exactly. So, we wanted to spend a lot of time on this today, but I kind of think that this has run its course. I don't know that there's anything else that we have to really talk about it. What do you guys think? Is there any other information that we have not really given? You could look up online what, you will need a Microsoft 365 plan, and you could look up online, I believe it's been leaked, which ones it will work with, but I don't know that information. But if we can find it, we will have it in the notes. But it's crazy because it's coming out. Actually, wait. When is August 2nd?
Is it next Monday?
Maybe.
Yes, because I get back from my family reunion on the 1st.
So yeah, it will be coming out 2 days after this podcast. So we're going to try to put as much information as we can, and we'll do an update in the news section of the next episode talking about what we do not, know currently. And Microsoft has said that they are committed to making this accessible. So it looks like Narrator and Magnifier and other things will work on there. Although, I will say, I don't know the need for Magnifier is really going to be useful because you could just magnify on the device you're on. And you know what?
What?
Cut.
What was that?
Why is your debug going off?
I don't know.
Oh.
I didn't know anything was happening until I heard the doo-doo. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DBot 365.
Please hold.
Gosh.
Please hold.
Your cleanliness is very important to us. Oh, man.
What happened, Michael?
I guess his DBot was like, "Hey, Schlabby, clean up your apartment."
Man, I wonder how, if we put this through the script, I wonder how it'll translate that part of the recording.
Right?
Kind of curious.
Wow.
Put it through.
That's
Wow.
an outtake right there. We
What?
have not. We haven't had an outtake in a while. There we go. We've
Yep.
got
Yep.
one.
Yep. And it wasn't caused by me this time.
Or me.
Nope, not this time.
Oh, man.
Wow, that's all I could say is wow. All right. Train derailed.
Okay,
Right?
are we ready?
No. I'm trying to remember what we were.
We were gonna talk.
We're wrapping up. But
We're wrapping
We
up.
were
yeah.
wrapping up, but the thing is, he's got to remember what he was saying in order to know where to. Unless you just want to, I don't know. I don't know.
Like I said, that train was so derailed.
DBot railed.
Well, yeah, like I said, you could always see where the script left off, and then just cut that whole part off.
Or however we edit it.
Yeah,
Somebody's gonna have to do it. It
Yeah.
ain't gonna be me.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. We're
Not in
just going.
Descript anyway.
No.
No.
All right. So, Taylor, you were just talking about, using, what were we talking about?
We were talking about using magnifier and narrator
Magnifier
on
and-
Yes.
the
Yeah.
Windows.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
And I had just finished the statement, or had
Yeah.
Taylor?
You just finished the statement.
Okay.
Okay, so then it should be
Yeah.
fine. Even
Okay.
if the beeps are there, it should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So.
No, I think there's plenty of time to cut before the
Yeah.
beeps. All right. 3, 2, 1. So yeah, and I really think that it's going to be interesting how accessibility is going to work with this, because magnifier currently, one of the weaknesses of magnifier is you can't easily move around the screen with your fingers on a touch screen. So if you're using Windows 11 with Windows 365 on an iPad, that will allow for on-device magnification with the 3 fingers to scroll, whereas you would not be able to do that in Windows itself. So that's actually a very neat thing that this is going to allow people to do, is to be able to use their own magnification software to magnify Windows instead of if you don't like what Windows provides. So that's really exciting to me.
That would be interesting if that concept also worked for screen readers.
Oh.
It won't,
Yeah. No.
obviously, but
Trying
that
to
would be
do
very
voiceover in
interesting.
Windows, I don't want to imagine.
Actually, no, I was thinking Chromevox because
Oh,
we were
well.
talking about cheaper computers earlier
Oh.
and 64 gigs of storage, and that just made me think of a Chromebook.
Oh.
So-
Well, yeah.
Although I guess VoiceOver might be able to do eventually with like the, if you could, it'd be interesting if Apple would make VoiceOver where if it saw text on like a remote desktop, where it could make the OCR text into a VoiceOver object that VoiceOver can focus on. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
It can in iOS. That's part of what screen recognition is supposed to do. It's supposed to identify elements and to try to figure out what they are and present them in a way that we can interact with. But
Yeah.
that's only on iOS. The Mac doesn't have that, unfortunately.
Right.
Right. So, all right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up our show for today. But yeah, it's been a great episode. So we haven't done these in a while, so I hope you guys came here with picks today. Jason, what is your pick for today, and where can people find you online?
My pick is Sorry, I just got super excited. I can finally say this. The AirPods Max. Yes, the AirPods Max.
Not where I thought you were going with your pick. I'm actually surprised.
Oh.
I thought you were going to go with the books, but I guess you'll leave that for next time.
Yeah. Because I've been wanting to pick the AirPods for several episodes, and we haven't done picks, so AirPods. But yeah, so the AirPods Max. I am officially in love with these things. They sound amazing. They are very comfortable. The transparency mode is awesome. I'm actually using it right now. I got them with the lightning cable, of course, like I had mentioned earlier, pre-show. So I'm using the... apparently Taylor's not excited by the AirPods Max. That's fine. I will be excited
I'm excited.
for
Sorry.
you.
I'm sorry. I'm very tired today, y'all.
I will be...
If you haven't seen my face. But I do want AirPods Max.
Yawn as much as you want.
I do want AirPods Max. But, you know.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
No, that's funny.
No, yeah. And I think I have a sore throat, but anyways. Okay,
right.
Move on.
But yeah, so, I mean, they like I said, they sound really good. The transparency mode is very natural. I can kind of hear a bit of a mid-range sound through the transparency, so it doesn't quite sound like my ears are not covered, but it is very close. And the noise cancellation is just amazing. It's actually better, unsurprisingly, than the Solo Pros, which the AirPods Max kind of sound very acoustically similar to. I was a little bit surprised. To the Solo Pros, music on the Solo Pros, music on the AirPods Max, they're not far away from each other.
So I feel like the Max has a little bit better sound.
I think they do, but they're still much closer to each other than you might think they would be.
Yeah, I agree.
From what I remember. But yeah, so AirPods Max, $549 from Apple, or whenever they go on sale again, like on Amazon or some places. I think one time they were like $89 off or something like that. So definitely a bit pricey, but they definitely do what they are meant to do very well. So, yep. And as far as where people can find me online, you can find me producing content for iAccessibility. You can email me at jason@iaccessibility.net. You can also follow me on Twitter at JDE, that's Juliet Delta Echo 91. And if you happen to see me on Clubhouse, which admittedly is quite rare these days, feel free to say hi.
All right. And Taylor, what's your pick for this week, and where can people find you online?
Well, considering we've had all these crazy things happen this week, and obviously it's, reviving some existing tech, right? Because yesterday I also revived my AirPods, which I never thought made it home from North Carolina. Last time I traveled, I'm like, oh, I found them in my backpack. That's nice. But, in terms of the pick, I'm going to say Descript. Because while it's not accessible on the Mac, and that's very unfortunate, it literally helped me edit my first video for my WordPress course, which you guys are going to have to learn about coming soon, because I'm not going to, watch more iACast to find out about it. But I was able to edit the first episode of that using Descript, and it sounds really great. And you can get rid of all your filler words.
With a press of a button.
With a press of a button, yeah. And it sounds really awesome. So I want it to be accessible on Mac. But I think that, it's usable in Windows. It's just if my VM, whatever, not being laggy. But see, that's where Windows 365, again, can probably help with this problem. So I think the first day Windows 365 comes out, I'm going to get it. As where people can find me online, you can find me all over the web. TaylorAccess.com is my new awesome company website that we just launched. So check that out for my company, Taylor's Accessibility Services. You may also find me producing content for iAccessibility. I am also on Twitter, Taylor_Arnt22. And you can find me on Clubhouse, although I'm not on there as much as I used to just because I am kind of busy. but I will pop on from time to time. And you can find me all over the web just by typing my name or my company.
All right. So I don't think I have picked this, but I am going to pick my new microphone that I'm talking to you on that I need a pop filter for. So saith the podcast quality assurance person. But I am on the Audio-Technica ATR 2100X, and it happened. It's kind of funny how this happened. So I was talking on Discord with a few folks, and I was talking to Demasi, who is on the DM show with Michael Babcock, who has been on here. And I said, you know what? It would be really neat if there was a microphone that was a USB-C mic. And they said, well, there is. And they told me about the ATR 2100X from Audio-Technica. And Michael B said, I happen to have one. You want to buy it from me? I said, sure. And I've been loving this thing because it's so portable. I could put it in a desk drawer. I could hook it up to my computer. I don't have to worry about a mixer or a big, huge microphone like the Yeti. And this thing just sounds great. I love it. I just need to get a pop filter for it. And it just makes things nice. And so that is my pick for this week. It's about $100 microphone. So it is pretty sweet. And I even hook up my headphones to it so I have a monitor. I don't have to use audio hijack or anything else for that reason. And I love it. It's great. Works well with Zoom. So, yeah, check it out. And you can even hook it up to an iPad Pro. I'm going to specify there. As for where people can find me online, you can find me producing content for iAccessibility and our new Techopolis channel with the Techopolis live show. There might be trouble finding that channel because Google and YouTube
doesn't think we're important.
Right. You could type in the exact word Techopolis and it won't even come up because, exact matches don't mean anything anymore to Google. So, yeah, check, we'll put a link to that channel in the show notes, so please subscribe and, also subscribe to this one, though, too. That's kind of important as well. So, iAccessibility is, we have our channel here. We're live streaming this right now. And we'll also, be all over the web. But, yeah, you can find me on Twitter as Mike Dowies. You can find me on, the Techopolis live show. You can find me on Facebook as Michael Dowies. I'm on Clubhouse as Michael Dowies. You can email me at Mike Dowies. That's MikeDoise at iAccessibility.net. And I'm sure there's another bunch of email addresses. If you just pick one, I'm sure you could get me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, that's going to do it for this episode. I want to thank everybody for being here, listening live and on our podcast. And we will be back in 2 weeks for another episode. So thanks again, everybody. Thanks for being here on the stream. Thanks, Taylor and Jason. And we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.